Sumit Kumar, General Manager of PE Plus, wins 2015 Executive of the Year Award at the Capital Maharaj Organization's annual convention.
Group of opposition MPs prohibited from entering Shalika grounds by court order.
Sri Lanka secures 3-year $1.5 billion fund facility from IMF.
US-Sri Lanka Trade and Investment Framework Council adopts joint action plan.
Schools in the North Central province to close at noon from Monday due to heat wave. Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Sharon Silva.
And I'm Bernadine Jai Singha. Very good evening to you. Now let's... Inspector General of Police Pujit Jayasundara called on President Maithripala Sirisena today.
IGP Pujit Jayasundara called on the President at the President's official residence today after assuming office as the 34th Inspector General of Police. The President congratulated the IGP, extending his best wishes and engaged in a cordial conversation.
Inspector General of, or rather, the International Monetary Fund says it has reached a staff-level agreement with Sri Lanka on a 3-year $1.5 billion extended fund facility.
Todd Snyder, IMF Mission Chief for Sri Lanka, announced that following discussions held between IMF staff and the Sri Lankan authorities during the 2016 spring meetings in Washington, a staff-level agreement was reached on a 3-year program to be supported by the IMF's Extended Fund Facility. In a statement, Snyder said the government's economic program aims at fundamental changes to tax policy and administration to reverse a 2-decade decline in tax revenues and put public finances on a sustainable medium-term footing. The statement reads that furthermore, the government will seek to raise the tax to GDP ratio to near 15% by 2020 by implementation of a new Inland Revenue Act, reform of the VAT and the Customs Code.
International Monetary Fund and the government of Sri Lanka has finally agreed at the staff level for a 36-month $1,500 million facility or a $1.5 billion facility. This is not a standby agreement like the previous one, but rather what's called an EFF or an extended fund facility. So this is going to help us continue with our structural reform agenda that has been proposed by the Prime Minister in Parliament and is now in the stage of discussion. So that shows the kind of confidence that they have and we have in our economy's ability to bounce back from this rather difficult rut that we inherited from the previous regime.
This agreement will be subject to completion of prior actions and approval by the IMF's Executive Board, which is expected to consider Sri Lanka's request in early June. In addition, the government also plans to secure financing from funds including the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. When Newsfirst made inquiries, Finance Minister Ravi Karnanayake noted that talks to secure financing are underway and that he would be able to share good news in the coming days. The US-Sri Lanka Trade and Investment Framework Council adopted a joint action plan in Washington, D.C. yesterday.
The meeting was co-chaired by United States Trade Representative Michael Foreman and Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samaravikrama. United States Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Samantha Power, participated as well, encouraging the Sri Lankan government to continue its vital progress on democracy, accountability and human rights. Speaking at the meeting, Ambassador Power noted that in the 16 months since the January 2015 election, President Maithripala Sirisena's administration has made extraordinary progress towards these goals, and the difference in the political and the security climate is felt across the island. Noting that conflict leaves deep scars in a nation, Ambassador Samantha Power said, quote, "I have never seen a country take such swift strides in so little time," unquote. She added that Sri Lanka demonstrated its emerging leadership in UN peacekeeping last year when President Sirisena announced new substantial military and police commitments. Ambassador Power noted that the joint action plan adopted at the meeting will help the people of Sri Lanka see a democracy dividend in the form of socio-economic growth.
An injunction order has been issued preventing parliamentarians Dallas Alahaperuma, Dinesh Gunawardena, Wimal Weerawansa and Udaya Gamanpilla from entering the Shalika grounds in Narahempita.
The order was issued by the Colombo Magistrates Court following a request made by the police. As per the order, the MPs are prohibited from entering the Shalika grounds in Narahempita to organise May Day processions or rallies for a period of 14 days. The order also extends to their organisers, followers and members. The police sought the injunction order from the court based on a complaint lodged at the Narahempita police by the chairman of the Sri Lanka Transport Board, Ramal Siriwardena.
Upcoming May Day celebrations dominated several media briefings convened by political parties today.
I extend a challenge to them. If they truly wish to form an SLFP government, then appoint an SLFP Prime Minister and take steps to form a government. The joint opposition will support this. It does not matter if it is not Mahinda. Those who wish to split the party, those who wish to destroy the party and hand over power to the UNP are clearly carrying out a UNP contract. I will let go of my position as organizer, my position as MP and minister tomorrow. I challenge Mahinda Rajapaksa to attend the rally in Galle. I will resign tomorrow morning if that is the case. Although the UNP may have been defeated for 20 years, the party never held two separate May Day rallies. I brought some pictures with me. This is the crowd at the Hyde Park rally. This is the location for the Kirulapana rally. The ground is only 50 meters wide. It is only 200 meters long. This is where they are holding their so-called major public rally. This is where the UNP rally will be held at Campbell Park. Those are like sheaves and this is like a bushel. We are not competing with Kirulapana. We are not competing with the May Day rally at the BRC grounds. Although we represent the same joint government, as a party, our policies are different. So our contest is to gather a large crowd than the rally at Hyde Park, to work together with the trade unions and gather the largest crowd for the largest May Day rally and procession in the history of this country.
The Sri Lanka Transport Board says various political parties have reserved about 4,000 buses for May Day celebrations. SLTB Chairman Ramal Siriwardena says the parties have been given till tomorrow to make payments for the buses they have reserved.
The Sri Lanka Transport Board says holidays have been annulled for all SLTB drivers and conductors considering preparations for May Day. The Deputy General Manager of Operations at the SLTB has issued a circular noting that holidays have been annulled from the 28th of April to the 3rd of May. Views were expressed on this matter at a media briefing convened by members of the opposition.
For
the first time in the history of Sri Lanka, SLTB has cancelled holidays for May Day. SLTB issued a circular yesterday. This is that circular. Today, the SLTB unions went before the Human Rights Commission. This announcement is the first time that an institution has cancelled holidays for working people on a day that is dedicated to working people. Not only on May Day, even during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year and other special festivals, we cancel the holidays of drivers and conductors. We have cancelled holidays this time too, in order to provide transportation facilities for labourers who will be celebrating International Labour Day.
Individual parties also commented on reserving SLTB buses for their May Day rallies.
It is no secret. People coming from rural areas need transport facilities. More than 2,300 buses were reserved. That too is insufficient, and we are holding discussions to secure more vehicles so crowds can attend the May Day rally. We are facing a dilemma as there are statements made to the effect that the government is not providing anything. We have been given the costs for obtaining buses from the SLTB. There is no way that a bus could be obtained free of charge. The district I belong to, which is Badulla, has to obtain 140 buses. One of the biggest criticisms against the previous government was that we used public buses for government May Day rallies. Today the UNP and the Gaul group have reserved all of the public buses for their rallies. We have no qualms with that. The people coming to Kirulapana will walk, come in motorcycles or vans or any other means.
Speaking to Newsfirst, SLTB Chairman Ramal Siriwardana said SLTB buses will be provided for May Day rallies only after payment has been made.
Prior to the Sinhala Tamil New Year, we issued a circular outlining the payment structure per kilometre. Buses will be released for May Day rallies only if payment is made in advance. We will not release buses on condition of payment after the event. Thereby, we have given them time till tomorrow for payment to be made. All parties have reserved about 4,000 buses in total up to now.
Joint opposition, a statement issued yesterday, has brought the phrase to the forefront of politics once again.
More than 50 parliamentarians have declared themselves as the joint opposition. Even the Speaker has accepted this. If there is a person who is unaware of this and is functioning as the Secretary of the Media Ministry in Sri Lanka, then as the joint opposition, we call on him to resign. Or we will take steps following May Day to take action to ensure he resigns. It would be morally correct for him to resign right away.
Secretary of the Ministry of Mass Media Nima Bopege convened a media briefing today on the matter.
With regard to this matter, I do not believe in any way that this should be done involving the political authority. Neither the President nor the Prime Minister, Minister or Deputy Minister were aware of this. I believe that this was not a political matter but a matter of instilling a progressive culture for the media. I am speaking of the situation we will have to face in the future against a backdrop where such an entity has not been recognized by Parliament. I say that if these people are creating such a situation, then I have no problem with it. As soon as they receive official status, I will have no problem. Our problem is that when there is an official opposition, people will ask us why the news is talking of another opposition. There is an opposition leader, a chief opposition whip, and then there is talk of the joint opposition. People ask us to clarify what these are.
Sumit Kumara, the General Manager of PE Plus, was presented the 2015 Executive of the Year Award at the annual convention of the Capital Maharaj Organisation Limited today. The gala event got underway this evening at Stein Studios in Ratmalana.
The 39th annual convention of the Capital Maharaj Organisation Limited got underway at Stein Studios in Ratmalana this evening with Minister of Finance Ravi Karnanayake attending as the chief guest.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to come here today, and I really appreciate Mela and I, and I'm sure that this is only the beginning, so very much more to go. And I can see the young transformation taking place, and you could see that this is the strength that it has gone on for 86 years. The way that it will go on for the next generations to come, and that's the success.
The event was graced by a gathering including religious leaders, ministers and parliamentarians, VIPs and special guests. The Executive of the Year is chosen from among all of the hubs that make up the diversified conglomerate that is the Capital Maharaj Organisation Limited. 5 executives were nominated for the 2015 Executive of the Year Award. The nominees were Sanjeeva Ranatunga, Director of Sales at News1st. Nalin Jayawardena, Manager Technical at Kevilton Electrical Products. Kingsley Ratnayaka, Channel Head at Sirsa FM. Yasarat Kamalsari, Director and General Manager at Newsfirst. And Sumit Kumara, General Manager at PE+.
Well, that was just a lie. Well, he never caught around no friend.
Sumit Kumara, General Manager of PE+, was presented the coveted award in recognition of his services in the year 2015.
I am very happy today, since this is the award which I had in my life, best award. I started my career in this organization as a production manager. My team, they wanted to get this award. Finally, team, we got the award. Thank you very much for your effort.
Deputy Minister Ran Wickramaratne has called for special courts to hear cases on bribery and corruption. The Deputy Minister made these remarks at a conference organised by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka last evening.
The high-level dialogue titled Combating Corruption and Fraud, a Pragmatic Approach for Sri Lanka was held in Colombo last evening.
That corruption, in whatever form and wherever it occurs, strikes at the root of democracy and good governance. We need to be engaged to ensure that the social contract we endorsed at 2 elections is not breached or violated by those in government. Even now, there are concerns that cracks are appearing in the area of good governance, and they seem to increase on a daily basis.
People need to be able to understand the complexities of these crimes, and particularly now what we see in Panama and Seychelles, how there are companies inside companies, inside companies, inside companies. I never thought, honestly, that it was so bad. It is terrible. However small it may be, wherever it may be, do what you can and show that rules apply, that it is not just written on some book and it sits on a shelf behind in a lawyer's chamber.
I know that we have seen some progress in the anti-bribery and corruption sphere. We know the Commission has hundreds of files, but we also know that there are hardly any convictions. People are losing confidence in the system. We need dedicated special courts which are going to look at this problem so that we can restore confidence in the system. And I think as an association, you need to study this issue. And if it requires special courts to fight bribery and corruption, so may it be.
Due to the prevailing heat wave, all schools in the North Central Province except national schools will close at noon from the 2nd of May until further notice. North Central Province Secretary of Education W.T.A. Marnell said the step was taken considering the hardships faced by the students.
Due to the high temperatures in the North Central Province, the students are finding it hard to stay inside the classrooms and walk around the school. Therefore, the Polonnaruwa District Disaster Management Unit has instructed us to close the schools. Due to this and due to the complaints we have received from the schools, we have decided to close all schools except national schools by noon starting next Monday, the 2nd of May. We informed the Provincial Director of Education to inform all the schools about the decision today.
An event was held in Kandy today under the auspices of Minister of Housing and Construction Sajith Premadasa.
The event was held to declare open the second model village in Rankethgama, Deltota, which comprises of 25 homes. A group of ministers and MPs, including the Minister of Higher Education and Highways, Lakshman Kiriyalla, participated at the event.
මේ කම්කරු දිනේ එළමෙන මොහොතේ බොහෝ දෙනෙක් කතා කරනවා අපි අරහේ යනවද අපි මෙහාට යනවද.
At the moment, when May Day is around the corner, people are asking which rally we are attending and what is more advantageous. I'm saying clearly that the public has the franchise to choose where they want to go. The people of the country can decide whether they are going into a hoax cave or a good cave. If you want to go into the hoax cave, then go to Kirulapana. And I would like to state with pride that if you want to enter the good cave, then you should definitely assemble at Campbell Park.
අනිවාර්යෙන්ම කැම්බල් පිටියට පැමිණෙන්නේ කියලා මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ ආරම්භයෙන් ඔබලාට
Tomorrow marks the 83rd death anniversary of Sri Anagarika Dharmapala. An event was held at the Sri Lanka Mahabodhi Society Auditorium in Maligakanda today to launch a website commemorating Sri Anagarika Dharmapala.
The chairman of the Sri Lanka Mahabodhi Society, Venerable Banagala Upatissa Thera, and Minister of Justice and Buddha Sasana Vijayadasa Rajapaksa graced the occasion.
ධර්මපාලතුමා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට සිංහල ජාතිය ලොව පුරා බෞද්ධ ශාසනයේ උන්නතියට.
We are only aware of a drop of the service that was rendered by Sri Anagarika Dharmapala to Sri Lanka, the Sinhala people, and to spread the word of Buddhism around the world. He opened the door to liberation for the Sinhala Buddhist people, who for 3 centuries had been living under the pressure of the rule of the Portuguese, the Dutch and the English. If not for the renaissance in Buddhist philosophy that he initiated, it is possible that people would not know of Buddhism in India and other countries in the world.
ඇතිකල ප්‍රබෝධය නොවන්නට සමහර වෙලාවට මේ වෙනකොට ඉන්දියාවේ ඒ වගේම ලෝකේ බොහෝ රටවල් වල බෞද්ධ දර්ශනය කුමක්ද කියලා
අනගාരിക ධර්මපාලතුමා සහ මහා බෝධිය කියන ගැන අමතක වෙමින් යන යුගයක
in an era where Anagarika Dharmapala and the Mahabodhi are being forgotten, I wish to instill something in the minds of the young people here. Sons and daughters, I believe that although you may have heard of Anagarika Dharmapala, you have probably not heard of the Mahabodhi Society. You cannot commemorate Anagarika Dharmapala while forgetting the Mahabodhi Society. Since 1962, the society has carried out an immense task around the world in continuing the work of Anagarika Dharmapala.
අනගාരിക ධර්මපාලතුමාගේ දර්ශනය දිගටම ලෝකයට ගෙනියන්න.
A program to showcase the skills of children at Dhamma Schools has been organized parallel to the Sirasa Vesak zone. The program has been organized with the support of the Department of Buddhist Affairs.
Discussions were held in this regard today under the auspices of the Commissioner of Buddhist Affairs. Students at Dhamma Schools will be assessed under 3 categories, namely their knowledge of the Dhammas, public speaking and Bhaktigi through this program, which is the first of its kind in the country. Students will also receive special opportunities to visit the Sirasa Vesak zone.
We adopted this proposal to promote the active participation of teachers and the student community of Dhamma Schools. So we came to the Department of Religious Affairs today to meet with the Venerable Theras who led this initiative through the Sri Lanka Sasana Rakshaka Working Committee and who regulate the Dhamma Schools of the country. I'm extremely happy that we received blessings and praise for the Sirasa Media Network from the Venerable Theras.
වඩ වඩාත් උනන්දු කරවන්නත් ඔවුන්ගේ දහම් දැනුම දියුණු කරන්නත් ඔවුන්ගේ ආකල්ප පිළිබඳ
This media network is conducting a program to exhibit and develop the skill of children at Dhamma Schools, to train them and guide them in personality development and awarding their achievements. We are truly appreciative of this program.
කිරීමේ වැඩසටහනක් මේ මාධ්‍ය ජාලය තුලින් සිද්ධ කරනවා. ඒක අපි බොහොම අගය කොට සලකනවා.
විශේෂ දක්ෂතාවයන් දක්වන දරුවන්ට ඉදිරියේදී තවදුරටත් මාධ්‍ය හරහා
We hope that students with exceptional skills will be able to move forward through the media through such programs. At the same time, we see this program initiated by the Sirasa Media Network as important to our efforts to promote and appreciate the skills of Buddhist children.
තාමත්ම වැදගත් වැඩසටහනක් හැටියට උපයෝගී වෙන වැඩසටහනක් හැටියට අපි දකිනවා.
Several acts of arson were reported in various locations around the island last night.
An incident of arson was reported between 1:30 and 2:30 early this morning in a shop, while several vehicles were also set ablaze in the Vienamulla area in Udatalavinna, which falls under the purview of the Wattegama Police Division. Our correspondent reported that the arsonist or arsonists unsuccessfully attempted to set fire to 2 more trucks. We heard a noise outside a house at around 2 last night. When we opened the door, we saw a car ablaze. Then we informed the owner.
We attempted to douse the flame by adding sand. It was then reduced. Then we held a hose and completely doused the fire.
The fire in the shop and the vehicles on fire were doused with the intervention of police and area residents.
We were able to reduce the harm caused to the store and to the people only because 3 police officers did their duty at the moment. An investigation has been launched by the Wattegama police under the supervision of the DIG of the Central Province.
A house in the Mallagama area in Habaraduwa, Gaul, caught fire at around 9:30 last night. Area residents state that the explosion that occurred after the fire was heard in 2 villages nearby. We were inside the house and suddenly we heard a noise. Then we saw flames. We were afraid and ran downstairs. Our correspondent stated that the owner of the house is currently in prison on charges of assault. The Habaraduwa police are conducting investigations into the incident.
Up next is Action TV.
Although the Agriculture Minister made a guarantee to farmers in Ampara on the 28th of March that paddy storage facilities would remain open throughout the year for purchasing paddy, the one and only paddy storage facility that was open in Ampara following the Sinhala and Tamil New Year holiday was also closed down today. Incidentally, this was not because the storage facility was full. The remaining storage facilities in the district were also closed down previously against a similar backdrop. A considerable number of farmers have been forced to stockpile paddy in their homes as they are unable to sell their produce. While the Irrigation Department commenced releasing water for cultivation for the coming season on the 1st of this month across the Ampara district, unprepared paddy fields are a common sight. It is possible that farmers who have been unable to commence cultivation due to the inability to sell their harvest may not be able to do so even later on in the season. This is because of a problem being faced by a handful of farmers who were able to commence cultivation for the new season. The problem in question is that farmers who did commence cultivation when water was released are yet to receive fertilizer or the money they were promised as a substitute to the fertilizer subsidy. About 60,000 farmers are registered to receive the fertilizer subsidy across the 29 agrarian services centres in the Ampara district. Fertilizer must be utilized in the fields 3 days after the seeds are sown or the paddy shoots are planted. On certain instances, fertilizer is used during the planting of the paddy shoots in order to strengthen the bond between the soil and the shoots. This bond definitely contributes towards a plentiful harvest. However, 2 weeks after planting the shoots, farmers are being forced to look on in despair as the green shoots wilt away due to the lack of fertilizer. Against a backdrop where about 15% of the paddy fields in the district have been cultivated for the new season, when the Farmers Committee of the Galoya Left Bank scheme convened yesterday, the relevant officials were unable to respond to the farmers' demands for fertilizer.
In the past, farmers commenced cultivation while they were given the fertilizer in advance. We received the fertilizer even before the water was released. That is how the farmers were able to cultivate. Today, the farmers do not have any fertilizer. The money we were promised instead of fertilizer has also not materialized, and the farmers have no faith regarding when they will receive it. What has happened now is that the farmer who commenced work on time is receiving the punishment that those who delayed should have got.
The TO conference was held on the 21st, and on that day too, a new circular was issued. The circular has been amended on 5 occasions already. You may remember that when the fertilizer subsidy program commenced, we worked as per the instructions we heard through the media.
Are the political authorities continuously breaking promises and restricting the fertilizer subsidy to a mere heading on circulars in order to destroy paddy cultivation in the country's largest rice-producing district? Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture, over to you.
Isipatan College Colombo beats Science College Mount Lavinia 29 points to 23 today in the Inter-School Rugby League.
Meanwhile, St. Joseph's College Colombo swept aside DSN Anayaka College Colombo 80 points to 7.
With that, we wrap up news. I'm Bernadine Jai Singh.
And I'm Shred Silva. Take care and good night.